Hi and welcome back to Lavender Coco Kitchen. Today I'm making everyone's favourite chocolate cupcakes, but I'm going to do a healthier version because of course everyone loves chocolate cupcakes. They're great for parties or get-togethers. So it's really good to know a recipe that is actually better for you. And I've actually taken this recipe to a lot of different events and people have always liked it, and they actually haven't really been able to guess that it's vegan or that it's healthy. If you buy cupcakes in the shop or you use a traditional recipe to make them, they usually do have a lot of added sugar. So I'm really going to cut back on that, and I'm going to use coconut sugar and spelt flour, which are a little less refined and they retain a bit more of their mineral content. The frosting is where it gets really healthy, because I'm not going to use any sugar at all. I'm just going to use either dates or prunes. You can choose either one, and that will make a delicious chocolate frosting that's also really good for you. So to start with, I'm just going to get some almond milk, half a cup, unsweetened almond milk. Don't get the sweetened one. And I'm just going to add a half tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Alright, so you just mix it around a bit and then just leave it. You can see it's already starting to curdle. So that makes something a bit like a buttermilk mixture, which helps the cakes to rise. Dry ingredients. I'm using spelt flour, and I'm going to use about a cup of that. This is wholemeal spelt flour. You can get white, but wholemeal is a bit better for you. It's got a bit more fibre in it. So for the sugar, there's coconut sugar, which is actually not just less refined, but it actually tastes better than white sugar. White sugar really doesn't have much flavour, but coconut sugar adds its own nice caramel flavour. Half a cup of that. You can just use a spoon to break it up because it does tend to go hard after a while. So for the chocolate element, I'm going to use raw cacao powder, which is very high in antioxidants, and it's a natural mood enhancer as well. So it's no wonder these cakes make everyone feel good. So I use about 6 tablespoons of cacao powder. 4, 5. So just to help them rise a little, we'll put in a teaspoon of baking powder. 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Just brings out the flavour. Leave it out if you really don't want it, but it's only a tiny amount. It's going to mix them together. If you have a mixer, you can use it. If not, you can just do it by hand. For wet ingredients, I got coconut oil, just organic extra virgin. So I'm just going to put about 1/4 cup. So if the coconut oil is hard, just melt it by standing the jar in some hot water. Tablespoon of vanilla. In the milk, you can see it's curdled, so just put that in. Lastly, a half cup of boiling water. So the mixture's ready now. As you can see, it's quite a runny mixture, which is how it's supposed to be. So now you just put the mixture in the cupcake papers. You can use any size that you want. So once you've filled up all your cupcake papers, the amount you get will depend obviously on the size of the cupcake that you want. So you'd probably get about around 20 or so small ones and maybe around 8 to 10 larger ones. So now just cook them in the oven at 180 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. But just keep an eye on it, because depending on the size of the cake, these ones may cook more quickly. So you've just got to check it and test it with a knife or a skewer, and once that comes out of the cake clean, then the cake is done. Alright, so while those are baking, we're going to make the healthy chocolate frosting. So I've just got a cup of dates, and they've been soaking in boiling water for, well, quite a while now, but you really only need to soak them about 5 to 10 minutes till they get soft. If you don't want to use dates, you could use prunes, which have all the health benefits of dates, but they are actually lower in sugar than dates. So if you want a much lower sugar frosting, you could use prunes instead. But it's just about personal preference really, and what flavour you prefer. But when we add the cacao powder to this, the chocolate flavour tends to take over a bit anyway, so you won't really taste a lot of the dates or the prunes. So they're soaking in half a cup of water. So I'm just going to put it all into the blender. A 1/4 cup of cacao powder, teaspoon of vanilla. Just blend it until it's nice and smooth. So as you can see, it's a nice smooth mixture. So all you need to do now is just chill that in the fridge, and when the cakes are cooked and the cakes are also cold, then you can use this to ice the cakes. And this can just be spread on like a normal icing, or you can actually pipe it if you want to make it look a bit more fancy. So as you can see, I've taken these small cakes out of the oven, and they're in there for probably only about 13 minutes, and they're cooked already. The larger ones will probably be in there for around 18 to 20 minutes. So like I said, just keep an eye on them, and once they're out and they've cooled a bit, just put them on a wire rack to finish cooling. Once you've got your icing done, it's nice and cold and the cakes are cold, you can ice them. The frosting can be either piped or it can be just spread on, whatever you prefer. And if you want to pipe the icing, then you probably need to make a double quantity of the icing mixture, because obviously with piping it uses up more icing. And you can decorate the cakes however you like. I'm just using some rose petals, a few jasmine flowers, some mixed nuts. You could also use fresh or frozen or freeze-dried berries are also really nice, or a sprinkling of cinnamon or nutmeg or some grated chocolate. It's just up to you. So just let your imagination run wild and do whatever decoration you fancy. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you.